Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Armentrout, and I'm welcoming you to the Chef's Table at the monthly Tapas Talks hosted by Kiko's Association Marketplace. This is where we have great conversations every third Thursday. For those who might be first-timers, and I do see some new faces out there today, Tapas Talks features tasty morsels of interesting topics, but it's just a taste. And we're connecting busy staffers with knowledgeable thought leaders, and we hope that after you have a taste, you'll want to know more from them. This opening session is being recorded, but the breakouts will not be recorded, so you can speak openly and safely with any questions you put to your content leader later on. Actually, it's a safe space all the time, but this part is being recorded. Today, we're once again spotlighting small staff associations, who they are, what they need, and how members of the community help one another. We'll follow a format familiar to those who've joined before. We'll have a short presentation by a thought leader, then brief intros of the other content leaders who will hold parallel breakout sessions. And then we're going to ask everyone to return here to the Chef's Table at 12:25 for a recap of the takeaways of today's conversations. We ask that you be on camera if you're comfortable with that, because that is what really makes this interactive format shine. The only thing that's mandatory is that you be kind and have some fun while we're doing this. So let me welcome our keynoter, Molly Georgakis, CAE. Molly serves as Executive Director at APCO and is also Chair of ASAE's Small Staff Association Advisory Council. They always give the small ones the longest names, I think. She will talk us through some of the pains and possibilities that she faces as Executive Director for a small staff, as well as the goals and wishes of the Advisory Council. And I'm kind of hoping we might touch on a new tool we've been discussing with that council, which is a badge that allows vendors and consultants to self-identify as small staff friendly. Molly, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I'm thrilled to be here for this version of Tapas Talks. And I hope to talk a little bit about some of the issues that are specific to small staff associations, and also to learn what other obstacles small staff association staff may be facing. So we'll ask a little bit for some of your input, and hopefully we'll send you off into some breakout discussions to begin working on some of these issues that you're facing. First, a little bit about my day job. I'm the Executive Director of APCO. As Barbara said, the small staff associations often have the longest names, so we, like many, have shortened it to just a few letters. We have a staff of 7, including myself, and we serve OBGYN educators who teach undergraduate medical students. To do that, we develop medical student educational objectives, assessment tools, and other teaching resources. Quickly wanted to show you our org chart, our staff org chart, so you can see that we fit very firmly into what I like to call the small but mighty category. And like many of you, we're constantly being tasked with doing more for less, or at least more with the same existing resources. I'm also here, as mentioned, in my capacity as the chair of ASAE's Small Staff Association Advisory Committee. As an advisory committee, our particular role is to be the voice of small staff associations to ASAE. We're supposed to work to help ASAE fulfill their strategic plan. We're supposed to help increase engagement on collaborate discussions, and to serve as peer reviewers and program advisory committee members, and ideally to schedule and host some meetups or happy hours. I wanted to show this graphic because it shows that the Small Staff Association Advisory Committee role is actually twofold. We're supposed to help advise our other small staff association colleagues, and then also take what we're learning from them about their issues and concerns and share that with the ASAE folks to ideally develop some specific programming. I wanted to share my SSAAC leadership. Vice Chair is Annie Story, the Executive Director of the Illinois Section American Water Works Association, and our past chair, Christina Llewellyn, who's the Executive Director of the Association of Technology Leaders in Independent Schools. Some of what we're working on for this year focuses on these issues. So technology issues, we know this is a big issue for small staff associations in a couple of different ways. Small staff associations often don't have designated tech staff, so their ability to work with tools in-house is limited. A lot of the larger vendors are used to working with larger staffs that have this technology expertise on staff, so they're not prepared to hold our hands as we walk through an onboarding process. There are a lot of ways in which this is complicated for small staff, and at the same time, we arguably need this technology help the most. So Barbara mentioned that a badge might be created for organizations to self-identify as small staff friendly. And, that would include familiarity and experience with working with small staffs. What we're doing on the Small Staff Association Advisory Council is working on a white paper and a checklist that the staff on the staff side, on the association staff side, can be used to help to sort of determine the needs of a technology project and walk through the process. So it's possible that these two things could somehow be married at some point in time. Another issue that we hear a lot about is operations, and a few of the key things about operations that are difficult for small staff associations are insurance, human resources, and finance. We want to focus on some targeted education for some of these things. So hopefully we'll be doing some lunchtime learning type things or other virtual programming to help with what we're hearing from our small staff association colleagues are major concerns. And the last piece I'm calling advocacy. And what I mean by that is it's our understanding that small staff associations represent at least 50% of all ASAE member organizations. It may be more. And we want to ensure that our voice is heard and programming reflects this. So these are some of the things that we're working on, but we always have the opportunity to do more. So I would invite our attendees to put in the chat any other issues that they're facing as small staff associations. And we'd love to take this feedback back and talk about it as a committee and see if there's anything that we can add to our list of priorities for the coming year. So I would invite everybody to go ahead and do that throughout this program. And with that, I would just say thank you. Here's my email address and my direct line. And if there's anything else that you are dealing with or would like to put in front of the Small Staff Association Advisory Committee, we would be happy to hear it and listen to it and, put it in with our work list for the coming year. So thank you.
Well, thank you. That is fabulous. And again, as Molly said, please feel free to put everything into chat. We're going to be saving that and using it to inform today's discussions as well as future ones. Now we're going to shortly move into our topic-driven breakout rooms that will all happen at the same time, and you as an attendee will choose who you visit. Lucas or Sandra will give us navigation instructions, so never fear, you'll know how to get there and where you're going. But I would like next to give our other thought leaders 30 seconds each. If I can only talk, it would be easier, to say hello. Let's welcome Rich Lawson of SALA, the Small Association Leadership Alliance. We met Rich during ASAE Annual in Atlanta, and we're happy to include him today. Rich, what's your topic?
Hi, everybody. So I'm with a group called Association ROI, and one of the organizations we helped found is the Small Association Leadership Alliance. And we offer a healthcare program, kind of became our marquee offering for members. And the entire organization is virtual. And I thought it would be interesting, particularly with the complexity of offering a program like a healthcare program, to kind of review all the virtual office components we have and maybe kind of open the floor up and see where we are post-COVID on virtualization.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you.
Yep.
Karen Fitzgerald, you're up next from AMC Institute. We are always happy to include AMC Institute because your members often are the ones managing small staff associations. So Karen, give us a taste of your Tapas, understanding the AMC model.
Thanks, Barbara. Well, Molly pretty much set me up for this. She talked about how small associations don't, most of them don't have a dedicated technology department. They don't have an HR department, finance. And as Barbara just said, many of our members, that's what they do. I'm going to share the AMC model. Association management companies are for-profit companies that manage multiple associations, and talk about that model today.
Fabulous. Thank you. And now Sean Soth of PAR, Professionals for Association Revenue. This is a group where I am a proud member and an active participant. Sean, give us a hint about the 2 rules for association revenue. And I know I'm seeing in the chat, this is what some folks are wanting to hear about.
Well, thank you, Barbara. Nice to see everyone. And Molly, I appreciate your advocacy. Sorry, I missed the beginning, so I can't wait to see the recording. I also, my day job is with a small team association in the life science industry. But a few years ago, we worked together to get a association for associations off the ground to connect and support people with the business development role. So how do we begin to align mission and business? We'll talk a little bit about 2 of the new rules for association revenue that we've discovered in our work this year.
Fabulous. Thank you. I'm going to listen to that. Adam Hostetter and Johnny Clayton are here from Fuse Search. And I love what Fuse Search does to organize association clutter, is how I look at it. Adam, I believe you'll be discussing the cherry on top of your content strategy. What will you be talking about with folks today?
Barbara, thanks so much. You are the best. And we're talking about how your organization has content spread across multiple systems. Let's bring them together so members and prospective members discover what they've been missing. Instead of pay walls, we promote pay windows. So I'm with my colleague, Johnny. We're a fun team. We look forward to seeing you in a few minutes in our content discovery and strategy session. Don't miss it. If we don't see you, you're really going to hurt our feelings, and you don't want to do that.
Thank you. Dawn Tedesco, join us now from Career Compliance Solutions. Dawn, I know your company specializes in online learning courses, and you speak on such topics as ethical work environments for HR manager. What's your breakout room discussion on today?
Yeah, thanks, Barbara. We are going to talk about your education programming and how you can assess that if you don't have one, or if you have one that's not working, or you just need a little help. All the components. I'm going to talk for 2 to 3 minutes about those key factors, what a member survey looks like, tracking, modalities, how to assess your competition, and even vendor partnerships, how to work with a vendor, and what an RFP should look like. And then really, we should have some open dialogue and conversation about what kind of challenges you're having as a small staff association.
Wow, that is a lot. Tremendous. Thank you. And Sharon St. Clair of YPTC, which I know more by your old name, your part-time controller, a national company providing fractional accounting to help nonprofits, including guidance beyond balancing the books. Sharon, I know you're going to focus on 3 questions that keep us up at night. Give us a hint about your Tapas talk today.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Barbara. And we are still your part-time controller. We just shortened it so it's easier to say.
It's more association friendly when it's an acronym.
It is, you're right. So we provide accounting services, outsourced accounting services, and we have learned, I spent 14 years working as the CFO for a state association. And so we're going to talk about those topics that keep you up at night, mainly focusing on your mission and method. We want to make sure that who's in the driver's seat. Is it the executive director, or is it the finance? We want to keep you on track, but we should have finance that's supporting you and not holding you back.
Oh, I love that concept. Okay, thank you. And Molly, I think you're also going to have a little breakout room. What are you going to be discussing in yours?
I'm going to have an open forum for discussing what sort of opportunities and obstacles our attendees might be facing. Maybe get a little bit of information from the folks that are on today about the size of their organizations, and just kind of an open dialogue about what we might do as a small staff association advisory committee to help our colleagues.
Fabulous. Yes, everyone remember, Molly is here to get your message and carry it back to the mothership, as well as help do her own job. Well, thank you. And again, keep those chats coming in on the chat room. And I'd like to introduce Sandra and Lucas. Sandra Nam is CEO at Kiko Chat and the Association Marketplace, and Lucas Chiaffi is CTO. So at this time, I'm going to ask our content leaders to scamper to your individual breakout room and get ready for the guests, plump up the pillows, do whatever you need. And I'll ask Sandra or Lucas to give everyone some quick guidance on navigating from the chef's table to each individual room. You can change rooms throughout this, and then we'd like everybody back here at 12:25 for a recap of what we talked about today.
Fantastic. Well, Barbara, the first lesson learned is IMA FWIIAA. It's more association friendly when it's an acronym. Thank you for that very valuable lesson learned. I love it. So we'll stop the recording here.